evening and welcome to everyone else to what is now our second virtual district assembly during the lockdowns, and hopefully perhaps our last virtual assembly during lockdowns. Tonight I'm joined by some of the rest of the team really, and we've actually got District Governor nominee for next year, Swati Mukherjee, joining us, and she's going to be doing a question and answer session at the end for you. So please pop your questions into the Q&A as we go on through the evening, and we'll gather those together at the end of the night, and we'll pose them to the panel that are here tonight. We're all working together to have a 3-year plan. So myself and Kevin, who follows me, and then Swati, have a 3-year plan to get some continuity. So we've actually got some long-term plans for the year. I've also got some presentations tonight from Phil Dyer, the membership team leader, public image team leader Irene, leadership development and training team leader Roger will be back at the end. Our keynote speakers for joining us tomorrow night are Rotary International Director-elect Nikki Scott and Rotary International Chief Philanthropy Officer Eric Schmelling. So they're doing 2 presentations tomorrow evening. I hope you can join us for both of these sessions. I'm now going to share my screen and just give you some. So really, as you'll see from my title slide, we've actually called this event A New Dawn. I see that as being quite sort of appropriate as we're beginning to emerge from what seems like a long period of dark and dismal times during lockdown. And hopefully we can see some light at the end of the tunnel now, as we kind of come yawning and stretching out of lockdown and hope for some brighter days ahead, really. Start to plan for some summer days, for getting back together face to face. Start planning, hopefully there'll be some face-to-face Rotary projects and some fellowship. We're very near the start of the new Rotary Year. Most of us are making plans how we're going to adapt to the new normal, whether that's visiting friends and family, giving someone a hug, going down the pub, whatever it is. And thank you for attending tonight. I suppose having a nice evening in the pub garden, so it's a good to have you all here for that as well. We're going to give you some ideas over the next couple of nights, give you some inspiration to make plans for your club activities and Rotary service projects over the next year. I know we've kind of closed everything down for the last year, but I think now is the time to start making plans and hope we can come out of it and there are no more lockdowns or no more hiccups for us to get back together again. But I don't think that simply trying to reinstate what we had before is either feasible or the right thing to do. I think this is quite a unique time for Rotary, as it is for lots of other organisations. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to push the reset button, to make some changes, sort out some long-standing problems, and reinvent ourselves for today's world, whatever that looks like. I think it's just a huge opportunity for us to become more relevant, more attractive to lots of new people who have found volunteering during lockdown by serving their communities for the first time during the pandemic, and they've actually quite enjoyed that. And they may want to carry on volunteering, hopefully, in future. What better way for them to be able to do that than to come and join us in Rotary? But not necessarily for weekly meals and meetings and black tie dinners with chains and bling. They probably want to be wearing t-shirts or high-vis vests and get their hands dirty, even outside in the rain, marshalling car parks as we've been doing at the vaccination centre. So really we're looking to attract people to come and help us to join some projects. And there's a whole theme on projects all the way through this evening, really. And that's where the International President-elect Shaker Mehta's annual theme for next year comes in. He's talking about serve to change lives. And that's what all these new volunteers will be doing. Right now they're getting soaked in vaccination centre car parks on wet Saturdays. They're working in food banks. They've been making masks and PPE. They've been doing that for the past year. They've been serving their communities, changing other people's lives. Will probably change their own lives as well. So we've got a Rotary International vision statement that many of you will have seen before in my presentations. So I'm going to share that with you now. Wait a second, I've got a technical problem here, that's not moving. There we are, so Rotary's vision statement. It says, together we see a world where people unite and take action to create lasting change across the globe, in the communities and in ourselves. That's the RI objectives, that's the top level. And it's how that we're going to actually do that. So there are 4 strategic priorities to actually match up with those. The first one's about increasing our impact, which really translates to being eradicate polio, let's get that done. Deliver more projects, be more impactful on the world. Also to measure our achievements and our impact as well. We need to expand our reach, be more open, attract new and different people, and build awareness of what we're doing. So that will be covered this by Irene's presentation later. Enhanced participant engagement is, I think, quite a long way of saying let's have some fun, let's actually enjoy our Rotary, let's look after existing members, get the new opportunities, enjoy Rotary, become attractive to new people. And the final one is usually the increased ability to adapt. As I said before, this is a chance to make changes, probably take some risks, and some things that we'll try to do won't actually work. But if you don't try, you never find out. It's a time to challenge the status quo. It's time to move us forward if we possibly can. I've used this model to set the district goals and objectives as well for the year ahead. And actually, as you'll see when I talk through the goals, I've aimed high. My father used to say to me, reach for the moon and you might get a handful of stars. I probably wasn't expecting a subject, but I got the gist. If you aim high, you will actually achieve some things. It's a pivotal time for Rotary right now, and we need to be brave, seize the moment, all these sort of phrases. We won't ever have this chance again. If you go back to normal, it will be normal forever. I think we have to try to make some changes. And President-elect Shaker has actually challenged this year's district governors to be the change maker governors. We've been challenged to steward Rotary out of the pandemic and into the new, exciting, challenging change agenda. And Nikki will cover that tomorrow night. Nikki will talk about change, why we need to change, what we're doing in the bigger picture in Rotary. So the first one is about increasing our impact and what that actually means for us. So the first part's about achieving our end polio and our donations target, but it's really more than just achieving a donations target. It's really about kicking polio in the backside and getting rid of it, isn't it? There's only been 2 reported cases of wild polio virus so far this year, but there's so much still to do to finally get the job done. So we can't take our eye off the prize now. So while we're changing, we have to keep our eye on polio, keep on funding it, doing projects to end polio now. It will still be years till we're completely polio free, but we can't give up 35 years of hard work now to get that done. We have to support our own charity, the Rotary Foundation. It's one of the most respected, highly rated charities in the world, and it's our charity. We have to support it financially, because at the moment there are so many calls on the funding for grants for COVID across the world and other things that there's actually more grant applications than have got money coming in, and we can't sustain that. So we need to keep funding the foundation so it can fund our projects going forward. We also need to use the funds, fund foundation, to leverage our own projects, whether they're local projects, international projects. There's money comes back out of the foundation for our project because it's our own charity. So we need to look at applying for those grants as well. And the deadlines are quite soon for some of those as well. We have to set ourselves some goals. Now you can set your own goals. So be brave, put them out publicly on Rotary Club Central. It's quite simple to do. If you don't know how to do it, it's just the governor will help you to do that. Declare them publicly. You can always go back and change your goals during the year. Even if you set them now, if things change in a couple of months' time, go back and amend the goals. Tone them down, make them more ambitious, whatever is the appropriate thing to do. But be brave, declare what you're planning to do. You've got club assemblies coming up. You put your plans forward then, declare those at Rotary Club Central for us all. There's a thing called the Rotary Presidential Citation, which is the Rotary International President's Citation to clubs who achieve a set number of goals each year. And this year is probably one of the best years for you to have a chance to achieve that. You can set your own goals. You choose which goals to set. You choose what the targets are. You declare the Rotary Club Central, then you achieve them and put your results in. So it's probably a good year to have a good go. And I would like 25 clubs in this district at least to achieve a Rotary Presidential Citation for this year. If you can set your own targets and then beat them, it's probably one of the easiest things that you ever do to get a Rotary Presidential Citation. So I think, something to have a little go at. Probably the most important thing about impact for me, really, for this year is I would challenge every club to start one new service project. Do something that you've never done before. Large project, small project, help solve a problem in your local community, help solve a problem somewhere else in the world. Remember, the new area of focus begins in July we've actually got Rotary project on the environment coming up. It's many resistant projects that we cover that, but just pick a project that will attract some volunteers as well, but do something different. Don't go back to doing it. Well, do go back to doing what you did before, but add a new one on. Just do one new project for this year. And that will then increase the impact that we've got across. What if we all do one new project? We've got 60 odd new projects across the northwest of England, haven't we? So that's the next thing we should be looking at. Expanding our reach is about growing membership. I know we're talking membership a lot, and Phil will cover that as well. I would like to set a big goal to have 100 more members at the end of the year than we do right now. But I'm going to include the Rotaract in that as well, because I like to get Rotaract off the ground. So 100 new Rotarians or Rotaractors in the district by the end of the year. I'd like to bring our average age down, which is a bit kind of going against the science, isn't it? Because by this time next year we'll all be 1 year older. But if we attract younger members into Rotary and also Rotaractors, our average should come down. So if we can get it down by 1 year in 1 year, that will be quite a big achievement for us. I'd like to restart some new clubs, and I'm talking here about possibly 4 clubs. A club for Rotaract, somewhere a community-based one, somewhere in the district. If you want to volunteer to help us with that, that would be great. A district passport club, and Phil will cover passport clubs a little bit later on in his presentation. And 2 new flexible Rotary clubs. 2 new clubs. We used to start clubs on a regular basis, but we seem to have got out of the habit of doing it. So 4 different clubs, either chartered or at least on the blocks by the end of the year. So we're actually starting to get some new members into Rotary. We need to use projects to attract new members. People don't want to come and just join a club. They want to come and join a project. So we need to use projects to get people in. We also need to attract people from different diverse backgrounds, whether it's gender, age, ethnicity, religion, or whatever, and just be a little bit more open. And that's a big area for Rotary this year: diversity, equity, and also inclusion for everyone. So basically, Phil will talk through some of the stats later on, and we don't reflect the communities that we actually live in at the moment. Our age is definitely on the wrong end of the scale. The male-female split's not what it actually should be. So there's a lot of work for us to do, but we can get on with that for this year. And President-elect Shaker has said that we need to grow more to do more. So the more members that we've got, the more projects that we can do. But that works the other way around as well, because actually the more projects that we do, the more members that we'll attract. So it's a kind of a virtuous circle there to work our way around. So we can do both. More projects is more members, we can actually do more projects. As you'll hear from the other team leaders tonight, doing projects can also have membership benefits, diversity benefits, and public image benefits. So we need to get the most out of the projects. We deliver the project, but look at what are the other things we can do from that as well. What else can we get out of the project? Can we get some new members, diversity, and whatever? And public image is going to be really quite important for us. Our next part's about enhancing participant engagement, really, which is having fun in Rotary. It's about how we view ourselves, look after our own clubs, our own members. We need to look at having different types of meeting formats. The opportunity now that we've not been meeting face-to-face for some amount of time, do we go back to what we did before, or do we stop and think and say, what could we do? Are meeting formats ideal for everyone in the club, for everyone that might join the club? Should it be face-to-face or online? Should it be a bit of both? Should it be a blend of some people online, some people face-to-face? How often should you meet? Should it be weekly, fortnightly? It's up for grabs, isn't it? Will you always have a meal? Do you have to have a meal? What's that going to cost? Does that put people off? Is your venue welcoming? Can people get to the venue if they don't drive? The meeting times for people that are working, is it too early, too late? Is it lunchtime, is it breakfast? Every club should be asking all these questions, and probably more, just to say, could we change? Do we need to change? Do we want to change? And if the answer is no, that's absolutely fine, but don't just go back to what you were doing before without stopping to think, do we need to do something different? Could we do something different? If you don't want to change, if you think everything suits everyone that's in your club, but might not suit new members, look at one of the other options. Look at an E club or a satellite club or a passport club. And you do what you enjoy doing, but try to help us to open another club in your area for other people that can't fit in with what you want to do. So that's really part of the plan for this year. So hopefully this year there's some more district fellowship meetings. We'll be able to get together face to face and have perhaps a conference, perhaps other events during the year. But let's wait and see what Boris says in June or July, or whether we're going to be released. And let's see how COVID actually goes. But hopefully we'll be able to get together, have some fellowship, have a bit of fun, enhance participant engagement, enjoy ourselves a little bit more. Because we've also got so much change going on, we want to give everybody the skills to perhaps develop themselves and the club and move things forward. So Roger's going to be talking later on about how we can help you to develop yourselves and other members in the club to cope with change or to do something new. So there'll be a lot of things going on during the whole year to help people to actually develop themselves, enjoy Rotary more, learn something new as well. Communication is also going to be important this year because there's so much change going on. We want to communicate more often, but it'll be different. I'm looking at doing a video blog for the beginning of my new year, so I may send you some videos, some newsletters, some different types of sort of comments all the way through the year. So it's just something a little bit different. We just want to make Rotary enjoyable for everyone. We're all volunteers. We should be enjoying our volunteering in Rotary. So watch this space. Let's see what we can do. It's all about change, adapting. What can we do differently? We need to adapt and adopt new ways of working. The district team will be streamlining the way that we actually operate. We've learned a lot during lockdown. We've done lots of meetings online. So basically we're looking to say, can we take the good bits of the lockdown learnings and apply them to the post-lockdown? Assistant governors will take on a much bigger role this year. They were front and centre of the communication with the clubs, so you'll see them a lot more. They're working with actually the team leaders as well to give you advice, training, a bit of guidance, a bit of support. So they'll be out there talking to the clubs a lot more this year than have been previously. As a district team, we actually meet more often because there's more change, there's more things going on, so we can't have a big gap between meetings. But the meetings will be different. They'll be shorter, they'll probably be online. There won't be formal reports that are written before and afterwards. We'll just capture things like action points to be done with the next meeting. So it'll be a slicker, leaner meeting, but more of them and more often. And we'll actually communicate with you what comes out of those meetings. The big theme tonight is really about sort of collaboration as well. We're going to collaborate more with clubs working on joint projects. There's been a lot of that going on during lockdown, but you don't need to do it on your own. Work with other clubs. Work with your cluster, and work with neighbouring districts on things like training events, perhaps with different districts. A joint district conference is a possibility, maybe not this year, but perhaps going forward. And certainly service projects can work in a much bigger scale across different borders. We also need to focus on Rotaract this year. We've got a bit of a Rotaract club in Manchester, but it's not really consistent. So we're looking to have at least one fully functional Rotaract club by the end of the year. It's a way to get young people into Rotary family, and hopefully they will spend time in Rotaract and then become Rotarians later. And when we have a Rotaract club, we'll involve them in district meetings and events. They'll come to assembly, they'll come to conference, because Rotaractors have actually the same status as we do, as actually Rotary members now. Such an assistant governor team I've already mentioned about. I will run cluster meetings as well to kind of get clubs working together and sharing ideas, what's gone well, what's not gone well, can we look at projects together. So basically there'll be a lot going on this year, a lot of change. So this takes us back kind of to where we started really. This takes us back really to the vision statement. So I see the vision statement is kind of wraps around all of this stuff for Rotary. There are 4 key words in the vision statement. Together, people create change. It won't happen on its own. We need to actually create these changes. We need to be the people driving them, people behind them, and people actually backing the change with these sort of ideas. So really, it's about us. And the theme is serve to change lives. So that's where the change part comes in as well. So yeah, it's going to be quite an exciting year ahead. So it's a new dawn. Opportunities are there. There's new opportunities. It could be a very exciting year. Let's go into our STEM with both hands. Let's move things forward for the district. It's not going to be easy, but I think it's the right time to make some changes. I've set some big challenges for us in the year, but I'd love to be able to celebrate those successes as you get ticked off during the year. If we do a conference in the spring, can we celebrate ticking off some of these boxes by the springtime? I would hope so. So we have some more detail as to how we make a start on that. So the first presentation tonight is really from Phil Dyer, about district membership team leader. So Phil will talk about change and flexible clubs. Over to you, Phil.